Okay, today's video we're going to go over keeping your allies alive. Now, I know that for a lot of people, they think to themselves when they hear the numbers game that their goal is to secure kills, which is true. You want to try and secure that first kill in order to make sure that you secure the team fight. However, if securing a kill, that first kill, is important to win the team fight, keeping your allies alive and defending them from letting the enemy team get the first kill is also equally as important. So here you're going to see me play DPS here on Convoy. This is from it's before season 2.5, by the way. But I'm going to show you how against a Captain America and a Psylocke, I spend a lot of time defending my allies from their engages. So right here, I try to do the cheeky thing where I stall the payload early when I hop down and I see that Psylocke dove back to their team. It's not dangerous anymore, and I start to leave. I start to apply pressure from up above, and the moment I start to hear the Spider-Man engage, I want to get out. It's too dangerous for me to be in that area. When you're up against non-mobile heroes, as an extremely mobile hero, you can abuse being up there. But the moment you have other mobile heroes that could collapse in on you too quickly, you generally want to get back to someplace safer. So here, I get back someplace safer, I apply pressure with my team, and I see the Captain America diving in. And when the Captain America is jumping in, he typically wants to jump to your backline, distract your supports, and make it so your front line can't be healed and possibly kill one of them. So I immediately turn to applying pressure to him and see how quickly he realizes now the engage isn't going to work and he turns back around. That's what you want to do to a Captain America. Every time Captain America jumps in, instead of just sitting there diving the enemy supports all game, just peel the Captain America off so that way your supports can feel safe and feel okay. And your front line can continue to be healed. Because remember here, especially on defense, your goal isn't necessarily always to get kills, it's to prevent your team from dying. So in this situation, with pushing Captain America out and with Spider-Man jumping in and engaging here, we shut them down. So now we can hold this corner. Captain America comes back in. And Adam Warlock has a hard time against Captain America, but if you collapse in on him really quickly altogether, makes it pretty easy. Now that we've secured those kills as a team, now we can push them back, but we still maintain control over the objective. And here you see me looking around. The reason why is because of the fact that I heard Psylocke cloak, but she actually cloaked to get out, but I was paranoid she was cloaking to engage. So that's the reason why you're going to constantly see me looking around to see where she is. I go up to see if she's up here. I'm keeping an eye out for where that enemy Psylocke might flank my team from to prevent it from happening. And there, once I see her back at main, now I have to change my strategy. Here, unfortunately, my team takes too much damage too quickly, and we just sort of like lose this fight. It's okay. It happens. Sometimes it's just everybody gets bursted real quick. Here, I see Namor there, and he's being a pest, so to keep him alive, I am trying to distract them from collapsing in on him. I try to dash to get away, and now I'm just on the defensive. I have to sit here and buy time and wait till my team comes back. Here, I'm fighting with my team. We generally have it as long as none of us feed to the ults. There's me looking around, because you see how I looked to see what my team was doing. They're fighting Captain America. They didn't really need me anymore at that point. He was low. He was going to die. I immediately started looking around, making sure there was no one else that was going to collapse in on us. I'm constantly on the lookout and having this awareness of making sure that there's nobody around who's going to surprise attack my team. This is the reason why I'm contesting off angles on the side. It's the reason why I'm leaving my team at main and I go take another angle. I'm trying to scout different areas to make sure that they don't have free access, right? And because of it, I get to find things like that. There, I went up to get an off angle, and Moon Knight had a really, really good surprise attack on me. I didn't see that one coming.
They hit a checkpoint. Now might be a good time to stop them.
This is just a full regroup type of moment. Here, once again, I have mobility. I'm going to go over this direction. As my team goes one way, I go a different way. And because of it, I spot the Captain America. Even just letting people know that you are in that area sometimes is enough for them to walk away, right? You want to make sure that you don't let them have like an easy engage in on your team. And one of the biggest problems I see is everybody holding the same angle. If everybody holds the same angle and nobody's taking different lanes, nobody's taking different off angles, then there's one flanker that slips through the cracks, grabs one of your teammates, and gets the kill. We've all had it before where our tank is holding the front line, trying to hold the objective, and a Wolverine comes in and kidnaps them, right? If a DPS, if you're playing DPS, sure, maybe the tank could have positioned better to not die to the Wolverine, but as a DPS, you could position in a way where you start to shut off the Wolverine's flank routes and try to keep him from kidnapping your tank in the first place. And that's what I try to do here by taking these other angles, trying to shut down the flankers. See, like right there, fighting the Emma Frost, but I noticed the Psylocke is on the top right. So I go to contest this space. I don't want her here, right? If you do enough damage, eventually they leave. I got baited by the clone. She leaves. My team is fighting main. And here I thought she wasn't going to dip out so far. I thought she'd be closer, but you see me constantly turning around, keeping an eye out. I'm trusting my team to stay alive with these ultimates, and when I don't see her, I turn around to do at least a little bit of damage, but I'm always turning around, keeping an eye out for them. I'm trying to help my team when I can, but even though it's been a while, I turn back around because I haven't forgotten about the Psylocke, and I know that Loki's behind, so I want to try and keep him alive. And even just by doing damage, you don't even need to secure the kill. Just by doing damage to these people, you can push them out to make them want to leave. It's unfortunate. We still end up losing our tank before we could get the support ult off, but it's okay. And I die when we lose the advantage, which is fine.
I'm back. You're mine. There's still a chance to stop them.
Once again, Captain America is here. We're going to try and do damage to him as fast as possible. We're going to force him out.
What a difference.
I try to get to a point where I can stall for a second. Maybe somebody else can touch right afterwards. Right there is what you want to do a lot of times, is you want to try and provide as much value as you can, but you don't want to die for it, right? I don't want to die on the point. If I left early and somebody else were to touch, then we might have an advantage to be able to recontest the point. But if I just died on the point, then that doesn't really help my team. You want to try and do as much as you can, bring as much value as you can without dying, right? All too often, I see people have like 50 kills but 24 deaths, and they're just like, I did so much for my team. It's like, no, you need to be alive. You cannot contest the objective if you're dead, so you need to try and prioritize doing as much as you can, even if it's a few seconds like I did there of contesting that payload, and then waiting, and then the tank could hop on right afterwards. So I go back in to follow up with him. I try to do some damage, but unfortunately, none of my team could follow up afterwards to stand on the objective after halt. You heard Psylocke cloak, which is why I was shooting the doorway. I'm trying to prevent that incoming flank from her. Here I see Psylocke goes down, so then I know it's an easy pick on the Moon Knight, and then Captain America is too dangerous, so I take my lead, I get out, I regroup with my team, and then we go back in to recontest. So here with the advantage, we're pushing the back, and once again, I hear Psylocke shooting. I'm going to turn back around. I'm going to try and cover that angle. I didn't see that Captain America was that low. Luckily, our Hulk gets him. Taking an off angle, contesting the space. Still watching the angle, making sure that Psylocke's not going to like cloak through. And this is me covering this angle, right? As my team is main, I am at least covering one angle to prevent any flanks and at least apply damage early before they engage in on my teams. Because right there, as you saw, once Psylocke took a little bit of damage from the Emma, she was out, right? They cannot engage if you do damage and you keep them from engaging. This is how on defense you can be effective even without getting kills. Just prevent them from engaging in on your team. Here, I see that the Emma Frost had ulted on the back of my team, which meant that there was nobody watching her. With her ulting, I really want to shut her down so that way she doesn't harm my team worse. So I jump up on her and get her since she's out of position. Just like my target priority video, you don't want to target just the supports and then just the DPS and ignore the tanks. You want to target the people who are out of position. Emma Frost didn't have anybody there to back her up. She thought she could just ult for free, and we taught her today that you can't just do that. Here, I'm just trying to break the rocket ult, of course. Waiting for as long as I can before I ult, so that way I can wait out the cloak and dagger ult, but unfortunately, mess up my dash. Go back to helping my team. Remember, I'm trying to provide value while not dying here, right? So even though I got the pick, I was kind of in major, dangerous enemy territory. So I wanted to try and get out of there and regroup as quick as possible, so that way I could come back and stop this payload from moving. Here, I'm trying to provide as much value as I can by pushing out the supports and watching these off angles here. Go from the backside and see if I can't provide some value by distracting. Get very lucky that the Moon Knight ult doesn't kill me. Now I'm flanking from the off angles here, and I'm just trying to give a little bit of a distraction, see if I can't be a pest. This is what happens when they're not contesting me and they're just letting me walk that off angle for free. Now I get to walk over here uncontested because everyone's facing forward. I don't get a whole lot of value. Luckily, we have a support ult that comes out that gives us a ton more value. Collapse on the Emma, who's easy pickings as Hulk creates a bunch of space. You saw how Hulk created a bunch of space and then jumped out with his life and then got healed back to full and then jumped back in. That's good tanking right there. Like a lot of times with tanking, you're not going to secure a bunch of kills, but we killed the Emma because of the fact that he was creating that space and then he got out alive. So it wasn't just a trade. It was nothing but value. Here, I see the cloak and daggers out of position. Now I'm just trying to provide value by getting the rocket, or at least getting him low. They have an ult, and I can't really kill anything through the ult, and if we can't destroy the ult, then I need to get back and regroup with my team. Unfortunately, my team is falling quite a bit here, so I am just going to play safe. I probably should have dashed that. I applied damage, I forced him back. I got blinded, and luckily the cloak and dagger ult was just big enough radius that I could stay alive in it. Trying to follow up on what my team is doing here with the ult, nothing crazy. I'm just trying to keep the payload from moving. You see here how I am the one person on it. As my team is fighting, I want them to stay alive, and what I want to do is keep the objective from moving. Just like if I was playing Captain America, or anybody else, if I can stand on the payload and have them not notice me while they go for kills, I want to at least keep it from moving. I am buying time for my team. Right? Because once I bought enough time, then Hulk could get on there and then he could start holding the objective down. There's a good kill on their Psylocke's part, but that should be the end of the round. So here, once again, I go up and I see Captain America up here. So what is Captain America going to do? He's going to do the same thing that I've been doing in all of my videos. I start up here, I wait for the cart to move, and then I stand on it and keep it from moving. I know that he's going to do that. Do I want to go and flank the supports right now? No, because the problem isn't the supports. The problem is the Captain America is going to sit on the objective and not let it go anywhere. So I want to do damage to the Captain America first. So that way I force him to leave. I don't want him flanking my backline. I don't want him flanking my supports. I don't want him stalling out this game. So I'm keeping an eye on the objective. I'm keeping an eye on the payload. I see Psylocke there as well, and I'm focused on them. I'm not focused on just flanking the enemy supports. Your job is more than just flank the enemy supports, and I think too many DPS get it caught in their mind that they want to take the easy fight, so they just flank all game, and then they farm kills, and they're just like, oh, why aren't we pushing the objective? Because Captain America and Psylocke were flanking the entire time. Whereas for me, my eyes are on the objective. I want the convoy to move, and as soon as Captain America dives in on my supports and on my backline, I immediately apply pressure to him, force him out, and we get the kill. So now we know that we can push the objective for free. See, now the objective gets to push forward, and we don't have to worry about the Captain America just stalling it out. He's back, but it's fine. The objective is moving. That's all I care about. Right here, I'm applying pressure with my team, and we're just forcing them back. We don't need to take a super aggressive play because of the fact that the convoy is all the way back there. And you see, Captain America is going to go stall the objective, right? I trust my team to handle the one Captain America because now he kind of put himself in a really bad position. If I go back, I see the squishies. Easy pickings. Using the advantage of the Cloak and Dagger ult, I see the convoy isn't moving. I want to get the people who are on the payload. I tunnel vision on this Cloak and Dagger because she has 10 health for like 10 straight seconds, and I don't kill her. Now at this point, I'm just trying to clean up the supports in hopes that we win this fight, but unfortunately, we do not. I thought I could get a pick on the Cloak and Dagger. I'm going back to regroup with my team here. I hear the Cloak and you see me looking around. I'm constantly aware of my surroundings and taking a look and making sure that Psylocke doesn't mess with my team. Unfortunately, Hulk gets killed. And here I see the armor packs, which means I need to look around and I need to find the res station. If you are a highly mobile hero, you are the best at taking care of these BRB stations. You want to try and eliminate them quick because even if you get a pick, if they res immediately, it doesn't count. It doesn't matter too much. But just like that, we can shut down and we can secure a pick by deleting those res stations. So if you see that they have a rocket, go find the res station first and then try to fight with your team. Get a clean kill on the rocket and then go back and regroup with my team. Because you see here how I destroyed the res station. We got the Moon Knight and then we got the rocket, right? I have 0 cooldowns. I did my job. Time to back out. Time to leave. Time to wait for my cooldowns to come back before engaging again. Take the win and get out. Captain America starts ulting. I can't really do any damage to him when he's ulting. I just tickle. So I go for the person who's outside of Captain America's ult, which is Psylocke. I apply pressure to her and I force her into a worse position. And I force her to use her cooldowns as well to do so. So here, once again, I'm on the backside. I'm trying to pay attention to the Psylocke. Here I chase the Psylocke and watches how I don't do enough damage to kill her, but she has to use her abilities to get out of the fight. Now that she's out of the fight, even though I didn't secure it, that's still downtime on her part that she used all of her abilities to leave. And even though her Moon Knight made a really good play, she's not here to follow up on it anymore because she's just not around. So I go to follow up on what my team is doing. Trying to kill the people off of the payload. Doesn't quite work, unfortunately, which is okay. Once again, even if you do everything correct, you're not always going to win every single game. And that's okay. The point is not to, you know, be upset if you play perfectly and you don't win. The point is to try and minimize as many mistakes as possible while capitalizing on the enemy mistakes. So eventually you will climb. The fewer mistakes you make and the more you capitalize on, the more you'll naturally climb. So even though my team might be struggling in certain cases, my goal is to not struggle. So here, I'm going with my team now. I really don't like this position, but my team ults into it, so I follow up on what my team is doing.
This is real firepower.
I see that Moon Knight is isolated. Psylocke ult is not super great into support ults, even Rocket ult, but it does work pretty decently against the solo target. So I do that to him. Get a really fantastic cancel on that ult. I see that Rocket just free healing in the back there. So I'm trying to apply enough pressure to get him out of here so he walks down. And even though he's in the Cloak and Dagger ult, it's in a worse position than he was before. I'm I'm waiting until the ult runs out, so then I start applying pressure. Gotta kill the people on the point. I see the Psylocke. I try to mark her and take care of her. Once again, trying to get the supports. If you don't target priority when you target the supports, you target the supports when if you have a choice between the tanks, the supports, you get the supports. You have a choice between the tanks and the DPS, you get the DPS. That's in a situation like this where they're all sort of clumped together, you could easily pick at this point. Then it's pretty black and white as to like which one you shoot. But like at the start of this round, when I was shooting the Captain America and I was shooting the Psylocke, that was specifically they're the target priority because they're going to be the ones that are stalling the objective and keeping my healers from healing the rest of my team. So here, once again, now we're just trying to get them off of the point.
That's 3.
Spider-Man goes into Saw, but it doesn't really work too well.
Vehicle reached a checkpoint. Keep up the momentum. You're mine.
Now I'm going in and I'm taking a separate angle from main as a flanker because I can contest space better. And once again, I do damage to Psylocke, she leaves. Now the cart is free to move forward. Here I am applying pressure and creating space for my team. And here, as I'm applying pressure and I'm taking fights, I'm trying to just keep them back from contesting the objective. And you see how I turn around and I look to see the position of the payload. I know how aggressive I can play based off of how far that payload has moved forward. It has not moved forward that far, so I don't want to play too aggressive and die for it because of the fact that the fight hasn't happened yet, right? I want to fight once the enemy team tries to contest that objective. So here is a moment in time where I'm just trying to hold space. I'm not trying to actively pursue more space. That's the reason why you're not going to see me push up. I'm just staying with the objective. Here I see the Captain America, and just like before, once again, I try to push him back. What I've noticed about this game too is that tanks are really good at taking 1v1s with just about anybody. They do great against a 1v1 with a DPS or with a support. So they tend to pull the attention of multiple people at once. And they also take multiple people in order to secure the kill a lot of times. So when you dive in and you're like, I've got, a few people distracted, where's my team? Probably there's like a tank or two that's distracting all of them while they're just busy defending themselves. That's why it's important to stay alive, because if you distract the enemy team, but you end up dying for it and the enemy tank doesn't die for it, it doesn't really amount to too much value. So here, once again, Captain America is diving in on my team. I do damage. He walks away. Now my supports are safe. Now that the payload has moved up with my team, now I'm going to flank now that the enemy team is engaging in. I have not the greatest ult, but it does amount to a kill, so that kind of works out. I'm playing around this pillar for cover, and I see the Emma Frost as I just quickly get out, regroup with my team. We get a very lucky, hilarious kill on Psylocke, and now I take an off angle as I go to help my team. I'm looking for the Moon Knight because he's a squishy. I hug this location specifically. It makes it harder for me to hit. I have a great angle on the rocket ult, so I pump a lot of free damage while they're not looking. And now I try to follow up on what my team is doing. Once again, I'm trying to kill the rocket so that way we can push the convoy forward because he's healing the people on the point, but unfortunately, Cloak and Dagger gets her ult off. I don't remember what happened here. Maybe I lagged out or something. That was just terrible. Could have played that so many better ways. Do manage to survive though. And I see a prime target with the rocket right there. So now that I see my Hulk engaging, I get a quick execute on the rocket. I get into the ult to get healed because once again, I had the rocket. I had the advantage of having the one support down. I'm going to take advantage now of the support ult that we have. But this point, I'm mostly just trying to charge my ult because of the fact that I can't really die in the support ult typically. And she, I think, used her grab and kick earlier. So now I'm just trying to apply pressure to keep them out. Cap is going to do this thing because, once again, this is the reason why if you're playing against a Captain America, the strategy for Captain America is to stall the objective. Collectively as a team, you should turn around and deal with the Captain America like I do here, where I push into the team, I try to do my work, but the moment that Captain America tries to push the objective, I want to figure out how to shut that down. Either I have to do a bunch of damage to force Cap out, or if it's a situation like this where, you know, our team has met their team, I need to take out the support so that way he stops getting heals stalling the objective. If it's just him by himself, you can focus him down. But if there's ever a point where he's getting active heals and you need to shut down the heals first.
Almost there. Don't turn back.
So here, my team I know is going to go main, so I start to look for a different angle here. I look on the backside. I apply a bunch of pressure. I stay behind cover in order to get healed so I can look back out. Apply damage to the Captain America. I rotate around him as he keeps punching me, so when I dash, I can dash directly through him, doing damage, and also regroup with my team. Psylocke went up and behind, and even though there's a bunch of stuff going on, I haven't lost track of the fact that there's a Psylocke behind, right?
Vehicle reached a checkpoint.
Flankers like that, divers, want you to stop paying attention to them, because the moment you stop paying attention to them, that's when they re-engage in on you, when you use your cooldowns on someone else. I didn't forget about her. I kept being aware, so that way I knew that she wasn't able to make a play. I was going to keep denying them from making plays. Securing kills is great. Getting that first kill is great, but denying the enemy team from picking off your allies is equally as important.
You're mine. Only 60 seconds.
Once again, res station, take it out.
Don't let anything stand
I get really lucky that somehow I don't die. My Namor gets a pick, and luckily because he gets a pick and I got the res station, it secures it for us. Here I am just applying pressure, trying to prevent the enemy team from engaging in on us, and the more I try to prevent them from engaging in, the more convoy space that we get. I can't do anything inside of the Psylocke's ult, so I go back here, but I wasn't keeping track of Moon Knight's respawn timer, and I should have been looking for him to respawn and trying to spawn camp him. Instead of trying to flank the backline. I mistimed it. I thought I had an extra second and I didn't. Trying to follow up on what my team is doing. I'm close to ult and the enemy support ult is down. I went into ult and then I got grabbed, and that's just on me. Sometimes, you know, when you get your ult, you start to feel a little bit too confident, like you can survive anything, and that was bad on my part. Here I ult directly on point. Not the best use of my ult, I believe, because of the fact that the rocket ult was still up, but we did manage to get a pick. Now, once we get a pick on the rocket, then we get a pick on the cloak and dagger, and now they don't have any supports. I'm trying to basically just kill the Namor because squids hurt my team, and they C9 off at the point.
Final score, 3.
But you saw how it's not just, you know, you're looking to secure kills. You're not just looking to flank the enemy supports and dive them all game. It's not this, like, it's not so linear and one-dimensional that you should only be doing one thing all game. And that's what I want people to remember. This is the reason why you have people, you know, DPS mark someone, or contesting off angles, or peeling. Like, if you work better and try to be cohesive as a team, if you try to help and support your team with what they need, you're going to have a better chance of winning, right? All too often, people just go off and try to do their own separate things, and it's just whoever happens to be faster and more efficient as a team is going to do it better. But what I try to do is I try to act as like the glue that holds everything together. And I try to heal for my supports. I try to defend them from flankers. I try to contest off angles. I try to secure that first kill. I'm always trying to see where I can provide the most amount of value possible, right? And it's not always as black and white as simply as saying is like, oh, you know, flank the supports. Like, sometimes I do flank the supports, for sure. But as you saw, there's no reason to flank the supports early if the convoy isn't moving up, or if there might be somebody stalling it. So instead, my goal is to do damage as a DPS player to the people who are stalling the objective out or trying to stall the objective. So, yeah, I hope this was a good lesson and sort of understanding, the importance of not just going for kills, but also defending your team from, incoming threats. It's why peeling is so effective. It's why marking someone is so effective. And a lot of times, when a team ends up getting like rolled and stomped, it's because everybody is sort of doing their own plan, but nobody is working together on one solid plan. Uh, so yeah, hopefully this helps you out. Hopefully this gives you a better idea of sort of what to do. Uh, I I find it easiest to do this on like DPS as like the mobile heroes especially. But once again, this is all sort of strategy stuff. Everybody in the game can do everything. It's just all about playing to your strengths. But yeah, anyway, that's about keeping your teammates alive and defending them. I hope you found it helpful, and thanks for watching.